Yeah, before we get into everything, though, guys, I want to remind you about FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet up to $5 right now and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. If you open the FanDuel app today, visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started.
All right, let's get started speaking about the Guardians. So
what a game!
The Guardians have ended their 10-game losing streak. Well, they ended it 2 days ago, obviously with a nice win, and then yesterday, the craziest game, and that's why. Sometimes baseball, you can know as much as you know. By the way, people were unearthing tweets of mine yesterday from 10 years ago. Did you see that?
I wanted to address that at the end of the Guardians discussion because I don't want to derail what was an incredible win for Cleveland to get into a terrible take you had. Yeah,
I think it's taken out of context what I said, but whatever.
Save it for the end of this discussion.
I mean, how much of a loser do you have to be to go back and search for a text I put out 10 years ago? But anyway, so the Guardians were facing Hunter Brown. For those who don't know, Hunter Brown since last August has been probably the second best pitcher in baseball behind Tarek Skubal.
I'll give you a stat on this real quick because I heard Tom Hamilton say it last night.
Yeah.
Hunter Brown gave up 4 runs the entire month of June.
Yeah.
The entire month. He had not given up more than 5 runs in any start this entire season.
Yeah.
And last night, the 4A Guardians lineup put up 6 on him. 4 runs in June, 5 was his most all season, and the Guardians offense, who have been shut out 5 of their previous 11 games, put up 6, which goes to show, to Bull's point earlier, baseball's so unpredictable.
It is, and the last 2 days, the Guardians have scored a ton of runs, and then, yesterday they get this big lead, huge lead. They knock Hunter Brown out of the game. Joey Cantillo doesn't go particularly deep in the game. He was okay, and slowly the Astros creep back into the game. I think when it was 6-3, I texted our group chat, and I said, they're going to blow this freaking game. And sure enough, the Astros tie it in the bottom of the 8th. They scored 2 runs off of Gaddis.
Yeah.
Gaddis was terrible, and Cade Smith was terrible the other day, although he got out of a jam in the 7th that he created with a couple of walks. But anyway, it's 6-6. Neither team scores. The Guardians don't score in the top of the 9th. I'm like, oh, the Astros are going to win this game in the bottom of the 9th, but they do not, of course, which was great. Then in the top of the 10th, they load the bases with 1 out against Hader, who's obviously, first you smacked around Brown, who's one of the best pitchers. Now you load the bases with 1 out against Hader, who's one of the best closers. And then I can't remember who was up before Martínez, who struck out.
Well, it was Schneemann, and they pinch hit for Johnathan Rodríguez, which I wanted to ask you about. I know it's a lefty-righty switch, so you get the right-handed hitter against the left-handed hitter. But Schneemann had 2 RBIs in the game already, and I've just seen enough from Johnathan Rodríguez.
How can I put this? I didn't love it, but I'm not going to kill him.
I'm just saying.
Schneemann's been. I know he got a couple RBIs last night. For the most part, he's been pretty horrible lately. And the truth is that Hader's really hard to hit, and so you want that.
Okay.
You want that. Batting advantage of the right versus left. But nonetheless, he strikes out. And it brings up Angel Martínez, who obviously hasn't been particularly good.
Nope.
And off the bat, I didn't think he got it that well.
I didn't either. I thought the way that whoever the outfielder was coming under the ball, it looked like it was going to be way short, and then it was
Myers,
like,
maybe? No,
it doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
The point is that left field porch is like, it's up there.
It wasn't I saw, StatCast from the show. That'd be a home run.
It would only been a home run in that park, right?
It was 2 parks. I forget which was the other one. But yeah, it was not a home run in most major league ballparks, but it was a home run.
But who cares? It doesn't matter.
And that's all that matters because it was a grand slam in the top of the 10th to give the Guardians a 10-6 win.
He was surprised.
Yeah.
You
could tell.
He was like, holy hell, I just really
because guys have a feel when they hit the ball if they've got it or not.
It was like a mishit for him.
Yeah, but it went out, and it was great. It was a great win. It's hard to get too excited because they're so far out of things right now, and I've been killing them for months or for the last 2 months. I'm not going to change my mind. 2 good wins, and they were good wins. They're not going to make me say, The Guardians are back, baby. I mean, they're still 6 games over 500. They're
Under
5.5
500.
Under 500.
You said over.
Oh, 6 games under 500. They're 5.5 games out of the wild card. You don't even have every team listed there, right?
No, there are more.
They're
teams
behind like
between,
7, 8
yes,
teams.
Yes.
So I haven't changed my mind that they're not going to make the playoffs, but it was nice to see them win a couple of games. I don't think it's going to change their plan of what they're going to do here at the trade deadline. You got one more game with Houston tonight. Then you go play the White Sox starting tomorrow. I think it's a 4-game series, isn't it? Is that a 4-game series?
I'll check 1 second.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it
10
is.
to the 13th.
So what happens if they beat Houston tonight and then sweep Chicago? It's a 7-game win streak heading into the All-Star break. Does that not change your overall outlook on this team?
No, it won't. I mean, it might change their perspective on what they might consider doing. But in the end, unless they get blown away with an offer right now, they're probably not going to do anything of significance till the end of July, right? So they have time, if they go on some good hot streak here, to change their mind or change what they're going to do. Ultimately, no matter how they play for the next week, they still need to move on from Santana, Lane Thomas. The guys that are going to be free agents, you move on from them, A, because it gives opportunities to other young players who have to get opportunities. And B, those guys are not good enough anyway that even if you traded them, it's going to make much of a difference in a negative way. And C, 1 week of a good winning streak can't change the fact that, and I think if they're down deep, if they're honest with themselves in the front office, they know this team's not good enough.
Yeah.
And one hot streak, the Minnesota Twins, remember? They had like a 10, 11-game winning streak a month ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever it is. What have they done? They did nothing before, they did nothing after. The Twins are, 45 and 48. Outside of that one winning streak,
They've been
they're
terrible.
32 or 33 and 34
They're
and 48.
Closer to Chicago than to Cleveland.
So one good stretch. And again, you never know. There are teams, the Guardians were 40 and 48. So there are teams, and look at the Tigers last year. They were out of it. They sold, and then they made a great run at the end of the year. Anything's possible. I'm not saying there's a 0% chance that the Guardians can make a run, but it's probably like 3%, and I'm not banking on that.
Let me ask you this. Earlier in the season,
Yeah.
and I don't remember how into the season we were, but earlier this year,
Yeah.
the Guardians had lost a couple in a row, and then they had a weird, wonky, funky win against Kansas City. And you were like, if this sparks the comeback, we're going to look back at this moment.
We won't.
I'm just, and I know that.
If they have the great turnaround.
But if we have a great turnaround, is this the game we're going to look back at and say?
If they make a turnaround and somehow make the playoffs, we'll look back to this series. Absolutely. Between the first, just they ended a 10-game winning streak. The Astros had been one of, if not the hottest team in baseball coming into the series. They'd been playing great. And then they beat them on Monday, Monday. Right? My days
Monday.
are all confused now.
Monday.
Today's Wednesday. And then to beat Hunter Brown the way they did and Hader, to score 10 runs off those two guys
Pretty damn good.
is pretty amazing, especially for an offense that has been the most inept in all of baseball for the past 2 months.
I wanted to ask about Cantillo. What's his he's been up and down, AAA, starter, reliever, finding his way into the rotation.
Yeah.
What's his ceiling?
I don't think it's that high. I think best case scenario with Cantillo is, solid mid-rotation starter. I shouldn't even say it's not that high. I actually like him better than Logan Allen. That's a minority opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of people think I'm crazy. So I shouldn't say it's low. I like his ability to strike guys out. You see that 41 Ks in 31 innings. But the walks are way too high. 17 Ks in 31 2/3 is awful, and that's why he gets himself into trouble. The walks are a problem, but he's never, as you said, he hasn't had a consistent role in the big leagues. I would like to see him get a chance to start every day. He may here. In fact, he probably will. Because they
took Ortiz's spot and started
right.
2 games in a row.
Until Bieber comes back.
Who else they got?
And we don't even know if Bieber's going to come back. A, because of the injury. B, because he could possibly get traded. There's nobody else. So I'd like to see them give Cantillo. I think ultimately his ceiling is a number 3 starter, which is fine. It's good. That's good. You need number 3 starter. And I think he's got some interesting stuff. He doesn't have the the full repertoire that Bybee or certainly Bieber and Gavin Williams have. He's not as good as those guys. So I wouldn't say he can reach that level. But beyond that, I think he could be better than Allen. I think he could be as good or even better than Ciccone, although I think Ciccone has a lot of potential too. They've got a lot of potential in their rotation. There's nobody else, though. I mean, outside of what they got. In the minor leagues, they don't have much, certainly not at the high minors. The problem, obviously, remains the offense, but not the last 2 days.